For many anime fans, Kyoto Animation fans especially, loved ones, friends, family members, Japan as a whole, July 18th, 2019 was a very, very devastating day. And finally, after so many years, justice has been served. Japan Times reported Shinji Aoba has been handed the death penalty on Thursday for setting fire to Kyoto Animation Studio on 2019, killing 36 people in one of Japan's most deadliest mass murders. This has been a very, very trying thing to ever even think about talking about. This has been a topic that ever since the occurrence of the actual incident, it's hard to really talk about because it is one of those situations where Kyoto Animation as a studio itself and the people that work behind the scenes and everybody involved with everything they craft have had some sort of effect upon me personally in so many different ways. So many points in my life that I have enjoyed something they've produced, and to see something like this happen to the studio, it broke my heart. For those unaware of the incident itself, on July 18th, 2019, Aoba brought 40 liters of gasoline, after which he entered the Kyoto Animation studio, splashed gasoline on 6 workers while shouting, "Go to hell," and set fire to the building with a lighter. The fire engulfed the building, killing 36 people and leaving another 32 injured. He claimed that it was because the studio stole his ideas after rejecting his novel in an annual contest the company hosts. Of course, there was no actual evidence of this actually happening. For those unaware, Kyoto Animation will hold a competition where people can submit their novels to them. And if it wins the competition, they will actually publish it. In a lot of cases, they will actually make anime adaptations of it. Yes, a lot of people are aware of Violet Evergarden. That was one such novel that they actually did that with. Japan Times goes on to write, on Thursday morning, 409 people lined up for a chance to secure one of the 23 seats available to listen to the court's ruling. Some members of the bereaved family were there as well. The focus of the trial was whether or not he was mentally competent enough to be held criminally liable. Presiding Judge Keisuke Masuda said Aoba was not mentally incompetent nor in a diminished state at the time of the crime, judging that he is criminally liable for what he did. The ruling said that Aoba headed to Kyoto from his home in the city of Saitama and set the studio on fire to stop number 2, a figure from his delusions, from following him. Judge Masuda said, quote, "But the impact of the delusion on the crime is not large. The liability of taking the lives of 36 is extremely grave. So there is no reason for the death penalty to be avoided." Prosecutors had said that he was competent enough that he argued that the death penalty was the only option given the gravity of his crimes. The defense team, meanwhile, had argued that he should be acquitted or receive a reduced sentence due to his diminished mental capacity. 2 psychiatrists who testified in the court were divided over this mental state. A survivor who had testified in court said that she escaped from window after she was splashed with gasoline. She sustained burns over 94% of her body and had to undergo surgery 49 times. She said, "I feel despair whenever I look in the mirror. It's grueling to live with this body." In a December session, he apologized to the victims and the families and said that he would atone for it, what he did with the death penalty. He also said in September that he didn't think so many people would die. It is so sad to think that somebody, and not sad, it's disgusting to think that somebody would be like, "Oh, well, I didn't think that many." Prosecutors also revealed during the 22 trial sessions that a month before the 2019 incident, Aoba plotted a mass stabbing spree in Omiya Station in Saitama Prefecture, but that he had decided against it at the last minute. Before the ruling was handed down, Judge Musada asked Aoba if he had anything to say, in which he replied, "No, I don't." I do want to read this quote that was put out by KyoAni President Hideaki Hata. He stated that we received an appropriate response and judgment in accordance to the law. I would like to express my respect to the judges who bore a heavy responsibility and burden on the trial over a long period of time, to the prosecutors and the police for their efforts in conducting a fair investigation and paying careful attention to all parties involved, to the judges and the clerks, and to all others who were involved in the conduct of the trial. Even after the verdict, our regrets remain the same. Our hearts ache when we think of the loss of the employees who lost their lives, those who were affected, and those who were close to them. All of us have been making daily efforts to cherish the works that they have put their hearts and souls into. And we hope that continuing to produce them in the future will keep their aspirations alive. Many young people have joined our company after the incident. We will continue to value our workers, strive to allow each staff member to show his or her talent, and continue to create works of art as long as possible. I think that's the thing that hurts the most about this whole incident, and why I'm kind of happy that it's finally, I mean, yes, technically it still needs to be what form of execution will be done, when it will actually be done. All that stuff is still to be done. But at least there is closure now that he has been found guilty at this point. I think the thing that made this hurt the most, not that any studio or any group of people deserves something like this, what made it hurt the most was that of all the studios out there, Kyoto Animation is like this place that you just see pure positivity out of. With all the studios and all their problems, I mean, what season doesn't go by that MAPPA is doing a show on that you don't hear controversies about how they treat their animators? I mean, working environments in Japan as a whole is seen with a lot of negativity, and especially in animation. It's just not seen positively. I mean, I would assume that most people out there, when they think of like, yes, if they were to become an animator tomorrow and they were given any studio to go to, a lot of people would choose Kyoto Animation just because it seems like such a positive environment and there's so much good that kind of comes out of it. I mean, they probably have their issues. I'm not going to say they're, 100% no problems, but it has always been kind of seen as a studio that has so much positivity out of it. They treat their employees so well, and have something like this kind of happen is very heartbreaking. I know one of the things that kind of I struggled with post the incident itself was the idea of some of the very talented people that work there no longer working there, probably because of the effects that this had on them. Like Naoko Yamada, she quickly went to somewhere else and was going around to other studios, and I almost felt like she possibly just couldn't go back, and that breaks my heart because, which not to say that she can't do amazing work elsewhere, it's just I've always known her for being, an incredible talented person in Kyoto Animation. But yes, this is something that has been weighing on my heart for a long time. The day of it actually happening just absolutely devastated me, and I know it devastated a lot of people. I mean, this is a huge event, which kind of made me believe that there was no chance this was going to be not a guilty verdict and seeking, the heaviest of penalties, because if you think about it, this is, again, technically like the biggest mass murder in Japan in a long time. I mean, probably since the warring periods. This is an incident that devastated people. Yes, technically in Japan there is a lot of devastating events, especially earthquakes, tsunamis. But this was this was an incident caused by evil. This is a person, an absolutely evil person that caused this. And so I didn't really see them not seeking some sort of penalty to them. And yes, they did all do efforts in looking into his mental state, which as a court system you'd want them to do, but it was important that I think something like this been shown some sort of justice, because this is something that affects a lot of people, and this is something that should never happen again. Let's just put it simply that this should never ever happen again. And it's something that touched so many lives, and I think it's mostly because, yes, Kyoto Animation has created a lot of things that have touched many hearts, but this is something that was massive and a global scale. I think because of how much people love what Kyoto Animation does, what they stand for, what they produced, it caught global attention. And I love that Japan themselves came in and rushed in to support them, giving them a lot of like tax breaks and stuff like that for the donations that were coming in. It was obvious that this was something that was hurt a lot of people, not just, yes, obviously hurt most family members and friends and loved ones, but this is something that impacted so many people. And it's a testament to everything that they've done. It's a testament to the great works they've created. And to finally have some kind of closure like this is huge. For me personally, it hurts the most because, yes, I don't know any of these people personally. They're not my friends. They're not my relatives. They're not my loved ones. But I can't really think of many of their works that haven't done something for some point in my life. It's one of those things where you can go through a trying time and watch something. Sometimes these stories connect with you personally. It's a story that is about somebody struggling with something and then overcoming something. Or it could be as simple as a character makes a goofy expression and you laugh during a day that you are hurting and having problems. And that's something that Kyoto Animation for me has done so many times. Ever since the first show of Kyoto Animation I watched, which was Air TV, every single one of them, their stories, in a lot of cases, are filled with ideas of cherishing the ones that you love, focusing on what's important, filling yourself with joy, friends, loved ones. Just there's so much care and love really put into a lot of their works. I mean, Violet Evergarden, getting the aspect of just getting over loss in general, getting into inspiration from things like Tsunane or Sound Euphonium. These stories, every single one of them has a purpose and impact within it. Even Even the goofier stories like Maid Dragon is filled with inspiration and having family. You know, stepping out there and cherishing those around you. I can't express enough how much impact Kyoto Animation itself has had on me. Not just the directors, the staffers, the animators, every single person involved in all these works that I absolutely love and adore. I'm happy that, well, I wish it ever happened. I'm happy that at least justice has been served. Anyhow, I hope you guys found this video informative, but until the next time, y'all take care.